What's up, y'all? This is DJ Kenny Parker, DJ and producer for Boogie Down Productions / KRS-One, and today I'm back with another video. Now, today's video is about a topic that's been one of the most consistent questions in the comment section below since I've started this YouTube channel. The questions and comments pertain to what was the beef between KRS-One and X Clan. Now, honestly, you guys, I wasn't even going to go into this story because, one, I thought it was common hip-hop knowledge. But based on the comment section below and a lot of the questions, a lot of people either know a little bit of the story, have some misconceptions of what happened, or don't know about the story at all. So today, I'm going to break down the whole story between KRS-One and X Clan once and for all. In order to really get deep into this story, we have to go back to the year 1986, when KRS-One and Boogie Down Productions first dropped the song South Bronx. There was a nightclub in Times Square, New York City called the Latin Quarter, which would end up being the most influential hip-hop club in hip-hop history. The manager of this club was a guy named Paradise. Not only did he run the club and book the shows, but he also used to be at the front door every weekend. As most of you guys watching this channel already know, 1986 going into 1987 is when Boogie Down Productions released the Criminal Minded album, which exploded in New York City. Based on the success of the Criminal Minded album, BDP did a bunch of shows in this club, the Latin Quarter. So the manager of the Latin Quarter, Paradise, was very familiar with Boogie Down Productions. As a matter of fact, in 2017, he released a book called No Half-Stepping, which documents his time as the manager of the Latin Quarter and has a ton of pictures in there, including many pictures of KRS-One. As a matter of fact, I have the book right here. You guys should pick it up. It's a great book. So, KRS-One and Scott LaRock and D-Nice, BDP, were very good friends with Paradise back in '87. And I do believe by 1988, the legendary nightclub Latin Quarters was closed to hip-hop. 1 year later, in 1989, Paradise, along with 3 other guys, formed a group called X Clan. X Clan consisted of Paradise, lead rapper Brother J, additional vocalist Professor X, the Overseer, best known for the line, "This is protected by the red, the black, and the green." And finally, the 4th member of the group was DJ Sugar Shaft. In 1990, X Clan dropped their debut album, To the East Blackwards. Now in 1990, Boogie Down Productions and KRS-One also released their 4th album, Edutainment. We used to see those guys all the time during shows and outside of the club, and it was always all love. As a matter of fact, I used to see DJ Sugar Shaft all the time in the club, and we were mad cool. But let me give y'all guys a little nugget. For a lot of people out there, the way you perceive hip-hop beefs and how they start and how they proceed is not exactly how it goes in real life. Many people think hip-hop beefs be like 2 groups squared off against each other, talking about when I see you it's on, or ready to fight, and it looks like West Side Story. That's not how beefs be in hip-hop. Beefs are more like 2 people see each other and they be mad cool. Yo, what's up, man? I got nothing but love for you, man. We need to exchange numbers. Call me. We should do some music together. And then afterwards, you find out that either they were talking about you behind your back to somebody you know, or they made a whole record with some subliminal disses or straight out blatant disrespect. And a lot of times, the other artists be caught off guard like, yo, I thought we were all friends. This X Clan and BDP situation was no different. BDP and X Clan was all good until they released their album, and there was a song on the album called Grand Verbalizer. And on this song, there's an interesting few little bars that went like this. Brother Jay of X Clan said, "What's my mind state if my state ain't black? But Moses, Malcolm, and Huey got your back. Go from verb to verb, sit back and take heed. Brother, you must learn. Swimming in the books, but the books ain't hitting." Now, if you're a follower of Boogie Down Productions music, you will know that in 1989, KRS-One released on his Ghetto Music album the song called You Must Learn, which was a video and single. So when X Clan comes out and says, "Brother, you must learn," that was an obvious shot at KRS-One. So now we here in the BDP camp was like, yo, where did this come from? I thought we was all cool. Okay. KRS-One being the artist that he is, of course his response was, okay, I'm gonna address this on my next album. In 1991 was the first year that Boogie Down Productions didn't release a full-length album. During that year, we dropped the BDP Live Hardcore Worldwide album, and then KRS-One worked on his new project called Human Education Against Lies, also known as HEAL, which was a whole album and single and video featuring a bunch of rappers, just like his previous project, Self-Destruction. Now, during this time of 1991, KRS-One's stance started to morph a little bit from the what would be considered pro-black conscious movement into a more humanist approach, basically saying that before we are race, color, or religion, we are all human beings and we all share the same problems. After KRS-One dropped the HEAL project, Boogie Down Productions started work on their fifth album, Sex and Violence. I have a whole breakdown of the Sex and Violence album on this channel. You guys should check it out when you get a chance. Right around this time, X Clan was about to drop their new album called Exodus. And the first single off the album Exodus,
To the east, my brother, to the east.
To the east, my brother, to the east, come on.
there was a couple more very peculiar lines. One went like this: "Over and under as I progress to this. Got no time to be hanging out with humanists. Raise a flag, tag the hand, clutch a fist. Serve we nationally comes the diss." So now you're listening to that line and you're saying, well, they could be talking about somebody else, but based on KRS-One's new humanist approach, it seems very suspicious. But further down in the song, Brother Jay says this: "You hear me? Boy, you better make way. Enough action and totally nothing to say. And here's a message to the Rainbow Crew and their fearless leader, Captain Human. Revolution is not humanism." Now, if you listen to those two separate bars in that song, you start to say to yourself, it really sounds like he's talking about KRS-One. And then you add the fact that on their last album, they came with Brother You Must Learn, and obviously BDP and X Clan had some kind of problem, a real problem now. Now, of course, the BDP crew is actually a lot bigger than what you guys see in the video. And a lot of guys that's in the circumference of BDP were getting very riled up by these unprovoked disses by X Clan. So things started to get heated. Check it out, y'all. On the streets, certain people from their camp, allegedly, and certain people from our camp had some conversation, and the word got back to us. Now, I don't know if this is true. I'm gonna say allegedly. But the word got back to us that there was some serious threats out there, like beyond rap music, like it was a real beef. For the sake of YouTube, let me just say it like this. Things were heading in a really bad direction, y'all. As a matter of fact, things got so heated that it eventually reached the ears of one Africa Bambaataa. Now, before I get into Africa Bambaataa, let me address the elephant in the room. Of course, just about everybody out there have heard these nasty allegations surrounding Africa Bambaataa. Even some people have come into my comment section making smart comments about something that has absolutely nothing to do with me. As a matter of fact, I heard about this at the same time as everybody else, and I was just as surprised as everybody else. In all my years of being around hip hop and being around the Zulu Nation, doing shows and whatnot, I never heard about any of these allegations until they came out in the public. And let me say this, up to this day, I don't know whatever became of those allegations. I know about as much about this as you guys do. But let me say this, for the record, I think anyone who does anything to harm children is disgusting and a monster, and they should get everything that they have coming to them in this world and the next. With that being said, once again, I personally don't know what happened, so I'm just going to call them allegations because I just don't know. But I cannot properly tell this story without mentioning the man and his input into the story. So, without further ado, let's move on. Africa Bambaataa, from the Bronx, who was very influential in hip hop back in those days, and was also very closely affiliated with BDP, obviously being from the Bronx, and a high-ranking member of Zulu Nation, the president of Chapter 5 of one of the 11 chapters, was a member of BDP named Willie D. I mention Willie D a lot on this channel because Willie D was involved in just about every aspect of BDP, especially the street stuff that people don't know about behind the scenes. Willie D was a straight up soldier, like I've mentioned before, and a real thorough dude for those out there that knew Willie D. However, somehow all of this conflict between BDP and X Clan reached the ears of Africa Bambaataa, who I guess was cool with both groups, and called an emergency meeting up at Bronx River Projects in the Bronx. Also keep in mind that this beef that was brewing with X Clan was happening right around the time of a few other BDP beefs that I haven't yet mentioned on this channel, but I will in the future, including the infamous PM Dawn incident, which happened within weeks of this X Clan problem. I did a whole breakdown on the PM Dawn incident on this channel. You guys should check it out when you get a chance. So on the night of the meeting, we all headed up to Bronx River to meet with Africa Bambaataa and X Clan. Only a few of us went up to Bronx River, the real core of BDP at the time. I do believe it was only KRS-One, myself, Willie D, and maybe one other guy who was, I think, Willie D's boy. I do believe the four of us went up to Bronx River. When we got up to Bronx River, y'all, there was about 80 Zulu Nation soldiers all dressed in black, all over the area doing security and surrounding the little center that we was gonna have our meeting. It was very official. Everybody had to get patted down, and then we went inside and sat down. We were there first, so we went inside and sat down with Africa Bambaataa before X Clan arrived. A little while later, X Clan arrives. Now, I don't know if this is true, y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all what was told to us. Once again, let me say my disclaimer. I do not know if this is true. But what was told to us was, when X Clan arrived and they got patted down, let me say this for YouTube, they came prepared. Obviously, They probably thought, they're from Brooklyn, we're from the Bronx, they're coming all the way up to Bronx River to meet with Africa Bambaataa with a group that's affiliated with Zulu Nation. This could be an ambush. I don't know if that's what they were thinking. That's what I probably would have been thinking. I don't know if what they said was true, but according to security, they were ready. Obviously, they couldn't get into the center with whatever they brought, so they got patted down and they came inside and the meeting started. If I recall correctly, the meeting had the 4 members of X Clan, and I do believe the female rapper Isis was also there, and the rapper YZ was also there. So we all sat down at this round table, mediated by Bambaataa, and everybody cleared the air. Which was basically, our stance was, they started this with us. We have no beef with X Clan. So Bambaataa's stance was basically, you guys are both talking basically the same thing. And the message that you guys are putting out there, we need unity. We don't need for our groups, the few groups in rap that are talking about a conscious movement, to be splintered in front of the media. So we need you guys to be organized and on the same page. So basically, people agreed with Africa Bambaataa, and the meeting went smooth. Everybody basically shook hands, and the beef was squashed. Bambaataa smoothed it out. 2 things happened after that beef. One was, during the meeting, KRS-One said, I'm down to squash the beef, let's move forward. But first, I gotta say my piece though. These guys said their piece about me. Now I'm going into the studio and I'm gonna say my piece, and then we're done. Right after that, we went into the studio and recorded what was probably the last song for the Sex and Violence album, called Build and Destroy.
Yo, I love the way I am and can't nobody out here change me. Rearrange.
In the song Build and Destroy, KRS-One addresses X Clan and his feelings about the whole thing. If you guys get a chance, check out the song Build and Destroy, produced by Kenny Parker on the Sex and Violence album. The second thing that happened was BDP and X Clan agreed to do a whole press conference and announce to the hip hop world that the beef was squashed. So sometime within a week or so after this meeting in Bronx River, BDP and X Clan did indeed have a press conference. And after that, everything was officially squashed. Unfortunately, over the years, we have lost 2 members of X Clan. Rest in peace to DJ Sugar Shaft, and rest in peace to Professor X the Overseer. In the 2000s, KRS-One and Brother J actually did a song together. So this beef was long since squashed, and it's old news by this point. So basically, here's the story, and here's the breakdown as I remember it. If you guys enjoyed the story, thank you so much for watching. Please give me a thumbs up and a like, and subscribe to the channel. And if you don't have the book, my brother's name is Kenny. The origin story of BDP and a whole lot of answered questions are in the book. Otherwise, thank y'all for watching, and I'm out of here. Peace.